Dr. Reese. For my gender bender assignment, I changed the way that I greeted people, um, mainly the other gender. So for my experiment, I conducted it at my high school, because I'm a high school student, and we had band camp, so lots of people to try it with, but I just chose 2 people because I didn't know how it might turn out. So for the female gender, instead of giving this person I knew a normal frontal hug, just, hey, how are you? I did a bro hug, as you said. So I stuck my hand out, grabbed her hand, and pulled her close. It was like, hey, how are you? Real rough with it. And her response was, what's wrong with you? And I feel like that really shows um, the socialization of 2 different genders, how we're risen to think certain ways. Like for women, oh, men are going to be kind to you and they hug you this way when they have feelings for you or your close friends, and that everyone should treat you very like a princess almost. I'm not going to say really, but be gentle. And I did the exact opposite. Like I went, like you said, against the grain, and I was like, oh, really up and close. And she looked at me like I had 3 heads, because that's not what people are used to. People are used to, like you said, the societal, or like the textbook said, societal norms. Which, going against that, I got a pretty interesting reaction. So I was really rough and tough with that, and then I tried to do something more feminine with the same gender. So I walked up to my buddy, and the first thing it is, I looked him dead in the eyes, walked right up to him, and said, "Oh my gosh, Sam, hi, how are you?" and pulled him in close for a real tight front hug. And it was early in the morning, so he didn't really respond right away, but he looked at me like, okay, why are you hugging me like this? And I grabbed him by the shoulders after I hugged him. I was like, um, how'd you sleep? And I was like really enthusiastic and uppity, and he just kind of like stood really stiff, uncomfortable, looking at me like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And that's another like big example, like just the differences between male and female and the way that we're risen and raised, excuse me, to behave towards each other. Like there's certain things that you accept. When you walk up to a dude, you shake hands. When you walk up to a woman, you can shake hands, but it's a lot different. It's very gentle, and with a man, it's very rough. And I feel like changing that and flipping that really throws people for a loop, because it's just so different. It's against the grain, and it's, like you said, it's a gender bender. It changes how we work and how we've always worked. And you told me to hit a couple points, and you said, why did I choose to do this? I just thought it'd be interesting just to see how changing the way that I usually behaved based on societal norms I've always followed my entire life, how changing that with people I'm already familiar with, how that would affect them, how their responses to me. Because usually when we know people, you're still comfortable and you're going to allow them to do certain things that you just kind of not allow a stranger to do at all. So changing how I greeted, how I said hello, how I like embraced other people seemed like it could go 50-50. It could either go like, ooh, okay, that's weird, and just kind of let it happen, or it could be completely like, oh my gosh, don't do this, stop. Like, why, what are you doing? And it was kind of right in the middle, which was interesting, because I expected one or the other, but people really kind of handled it gracefully. And I feel like that was also a part of the thing in society, is society's become so much more accepting of everything. So when somebody does do that, when somebody goes against the grain, the immediate reaction isn't like a hard, no, don't do that, discourage that behavior. It's more of a try to figure out what's going on. It's almost like a like testing the waters with trying to see what's happening. It's weird to see how that works. And then you say, what do you think would happen? Well, I thought it not work out very well. I thought I'd try to go in for a frontal hug with my buddy, and he just completely stiff arm me and be like, whoa, what are you doing? But no, he just looked at me like, why are you doing this? Like, he was very accepting of it, which is weird. And what actually happened was accepting. And the funniest thing that happened was the girl I hugged was my girlfriend. And I usually hug her normally, as society would always have it, you know, just, oh, hug you around the waist or the shoulders. And she went to do that, and it was really awkward because I grabbed her hand and she looked at me like, why you grab my hand? I like pulled her in and I was like, oh, hey, buddy. And she looked at me like I had three heads. She was like, no, give me a real hug. So that was kind of funny. But overall, this is a really fun thing, like experimenting with how society reacts to like deviance from what is expected of normal behavior. I really like doing this. I might do it every now and then just to see how people react. Maybe create a couple hypotheses, which is really nerdy and kind of dumb, but I don't know. I want to see how people react to different things, whether it's the opposite gender norms or it's political belief differences, or kind of like how you did, how power structures within religious places, how it changes, how the piano situation that you were talking about. I really like it. It's very interesting, and thank you for being my instructor this year. It has been crazy to read all these things. Like, some of the stuff I knew and just kind of understood without even thinking about it, and other stuff I had never thought about, and it's just been a really, really fun ride. Thank you.